Musashi! It took me over a year to figure out his name.
So yeah, basically just switch out the range mod for torpedo or gun reload and put on
Concealment.
and switch out steering gears for concealment. It should be good enough.
Got it.
Yeah, give it a try. Feel free to send in the replay if you want later on. Let us know how it works out. Thanks again for being a sub, Classic. Appreciate it. Caduzanon is here. This is his Friederich de Grosse. And Caduzanon, was this your last game in this ship? I know you said you finished the line.
So, step 1. Get a better computer. You spawned in at the 18:30 minute mark. So it took you about like 2 or 3 minutes to load.
So, ironically enough, one of my best friends in this game, who sadly I haven't seen in a long time, is Hushibao. Puddin', you remember Hush, right?
Oh yeah.
Hushibao had an issue with his loading too. He would load about 2 minutes late every single day, every single game. He would load in late, and then he would just completely dominate and come in first place, like half the times he would play with us. And I think part of that is actually because he loaded in late. You can actually shoot him right here. Move more. There, shoot, fire. Now, shoot. Because when he comes in late like that, he can see how the enemy is deploying and how his teammates are deploying, and he can kind of react accordingly.
As long as you're not a destroyer or a carrier, you can spawn in later. But if you're a carrier and you spawn in late, expect to eat a few reports.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of reports, how about that Z-39 that just went boom? Bam bam detonated. Ouch. Caduzanon says, I did that, I was the first. Hey, no spoilers, man, no spoilers.
Well, at least he has flags now.
Mm-hmm. How does one load in battle late? You have a computer that doesn't really process all that, or you might have a very slow connection, or both.
I think it's more of the computer. If you have a computer from the 90s, that generally does it.
Running in the 90s.
The 1890s?
I was thinking about 90s AD. So back when bronze was the hype, and the Roman army was doing stuff.
So just after Pompeii went bye-bye?
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, the Roman army did stuff in the 40s. It's just not very good at it.
You guys are something else. Now take a look at this Riga. What is the Riga trying to accomplish here? And I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish either, Caduzanon. I think this is... I would have rather seen you with the Massachusetts, or... Yeah, I guess just with the Massachusetts.
It looks like you're not being very decisive. Either you want to go kite on the 910 line or YOLO in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's surprisingly safe to go in the sea.
Mm-hmm. Tactical beaching. Here, you could put up a plane, or you could start your hydro so that your team knows what the Riga is doing. Your Edinburgh has decided he doesn't want any of this, and he's already turning away and running. So that leaves just you and the Massachusetts.
So what I like to do, if I were to take a German battleship with secondaries, I do what you do, but not crash into the rock, but turn right.
Mm-hmm.
So at the Massachusetts position, I'll be kiting out. That way I have my secondaries, I'm at close range, and I can bully any ship that tries to push into me.
Yep. Riga has torps. No. Riga has 1 torpedo. Every ship has 1 torpedo.
And Riga is stock.
How do you know that? Hit points?
Hit points. Don't be sorry. What you need to do is shove Massachusetts in there. That way he blows up, and then you get to kite and fire on secondaries for free the entire time. You have to force your Massachusetts to utilize teamwork.
Whether he wants it or not. What are you doing now? I would slow down here and just sit here with your secondaries. Massa went in? No, he didn't. Activated invisibility mode, right? I've never seen this before.
That sounds like a mod.
Or a truly potato computer. Later he went in. Well, yeah, because what you're doing is you're going to draw them out, right? They're going to come after you. Stevie has decided he wants food again. Oh, this Riga. Oh, this Riga.
Why did you turn to the right? You've basically... this is not a good way of kiting. You just basically knocked out your front turrets and your secondaries for quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's what I was commenting on earlier, is if you kept on going, you keep those arcs on the individual ships, especially if there's like nobody really there. What do you care about?
And you also didn't DCP 2 full fires.
Yep, general rule is if you get set on 2 fires, you can DCP, especially if they're 2 immediate fires. Fortunately for you, though, the Riga decided to come out and let himself get shot at. And your Hydro is taking out the Haida's ability to sit and smoke, so that's good. Yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it? Let's see if I can see his shell. Okay, I can see his ship. Now I can see a ship. That's really strange. Oh well.
So if you didn't turn around and still kited on the 910, you would have killed Riga no problem, and then killed the King George V, followed up by Matago afterwards.
Or yeah, one of these 2, right. Well, going this way is okay if the Massachusetts also pushes, it allows you to get a broadside on the Sinop. So I would continue to go into sea at this point. But you're doing a circle around again.
What's Alaska gonna do to you?
Yeah, you only have problems with Alaska if you show broadside to him. Otherwise, yeah. Oh look, Sinop wants to die.
I wonder if Sinop knows what happened to Riga.
He's about to find out firsthand. Again. Oh, maybe the Otago too.
Yeah, you have people literally gifting you their bodies.
Very nice of them. Now you know the Otago is going to fire torpedoes at you. There they are. Wait for the Otago to get greedy and fire the front torpedoes.
And also type in all chat for them to fire at Massachusetts instead.
Why?
Because Massachusetts has higher HP, so they get more damage when they land all their torps.
Ah, yes. See, here you go curling around again. You could have had your front turrets in on this action too, but you didn't want to, apparently.
You're on pretty much instant double fire again. You should really consider using DCP.
Well, he did. A little late, though, on the decision. You got a broadside Alaska. Staying alive? Yes, we already did talk about player burnout and stuff. We had our Zath chat portion earlier. We are now on our replay analysis. People gifting you their bodies certainly hits different if you didn't have context. Yeah, that's true. Where's Sith Kitten when you need her most? Keep turning in. You want to get here so you can get the backside of the Sin up too.
You can get aggressive on Alaska. Jombard is distracting him for you.
Yes.
And you overmatch his bow, and he's gonna die. And better yet, your Jombard's also gonna die.
So he gave you additional XP. Very nice of him.
It's not like some of it's not necessarily delayed, but I find that some of your decisions are not optimal. Like, you basically did 2 loops around that island, which is a bit silly if you think about it.
Yep. You're shooting HE now. You're almost playing this ship as if you don't care what turrets have angles on things. You flipped your guns at least 2 times in this battle. And I feel you could have had a lot more damage already if you had maintained, like what SAT was talking about earlier on that 9 line. You're gonna... Why would you ram the Minnesota?
Yep. I think, also I think your throttle was stuck on full forward. Like, if you stopped at around the 8 or 9 line, you could have farmed out the Riga when you pushed out. You could have farmed out the KGV as he tried to back up.
Right.
And you could have farmed the Atago afterwards.
And what you do is you sit there and force them to come after you. And when they come after you, then they cross in front of the Massachusetts. The Massachusetts blabs them and they're dead. Instead,
you get ultimate damage, they get ultimate sadness.
That's right. But instead, what's happening now is you're going after this Minnesota, and the Atago's on your broadside, which means the Atago's probably going to torpedo you. Now you switch to AP? Well, on the bright side, we're about to get ourselves a death pick. Which is, of course, what we're all here for. At least what Deadliest is here for. It's the best kind of death pick too, because it's a ram. Okay. Now the sun's on this side. So let's see, what can we do? Do something like that. I'd love to find a way to get that Massachusetts in the background, because then that's a triple death pick, right? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Triple death pick. The Massachusetts played a really good game. Absolutely, yes.
Just sat behind a rock. Sat behind a rock while the other ships were doing donuts behind him.
Alright. Replays 2, death pick 1. Wow. Alright, Caduzanon, any other questions you have about your play on this ship? Oh, just when I was about to take another death pick, you went and spectated. Oh well. Not looking good for your team, though. So you probably came in first place, but you probably lost. Edinburgh's gonna go in and die now.
As a side note, it looks like I think you had a good chance of winning your side if that was played better.
Yes. And by winning your side, that means you would then have the freedom to flex back into mid and deal with the other side that had lost, essentially.
You have you had 3 ships down, so it's not too far off. If you cleaned up your side a little bit faster, you might have been able to deal with the west side coming back in.
Right. Need to learn how to get ships like Minnesota down? Burn them.
Minnesota wasn't really much of an issue. Like, it took him 10 minutes to get into mid, and I didn't see him do much during the entire match. It's more like you were forced into that position, so it was practically a lost cause to begin with.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about it too much.